no matter how much you've prepped, sometimes when you get to set, the reality sinks in. And I have a great example of, although this location was good on paper, when you got up close, it was not in great shape. Let me explain. But first, adapting on set is not about panicking, it's not about scrambling, it's about slowing down enough to realize, hey, what are we here to do? We're here to capture these storyboards or tell this story. And to me, it's about telling the director, yes, we can do this, and here's how. String Bean Coffee Company, Brazilian estate. Sometimes I think it's your job as a DP to not say no to the director. It's about saying, okay, I think here's how we can do that. Based on what you're asking, here's how we can do it, or hey, these are the tools we got, here's how we can do it. To me, working with a director, it's not about saying no, it's about figuring out how to say yes to whatever his goals are. It's also letting him know, hey, we are not dealing with great situations, we're not dealing with great circumstances, and our crew is quickly melting in this hot sun. But then reminding him, don't panic, I'm here, I've got this. I have plenty of tools and tricks up my sleeve to say, hey, don't worry, although we don't have the A team of the G&E, we can make this happen and it'll look great, and here's why. You got me, baby. One of the quick reality things you'll learn as a DP, on a commercial set at least, is that to some degree what really matters is making sure the agency is happy. And there's a few tips and tricks on how to make sure they're happy a little bit easier. Quick one, brighten up the monitor, whatever monitor they're watching, just brighten that up a little bit. Two, make sure craft service is super close to them so that they are enjoying their day. And then three, celebrating after each shot. Be like, wow, that was the best. Dude, I can't believe we got that. Meanwhile, look over your shoulder to your first day scene and be like, I'm sorry, don't judge me. We can do better. But, you know, these are just tips. If you're an agency looking to hire me, no, I won't do that to you. Trust me, come on. All right. So on this shoot, we quickly realized that it was not giving us what we were hoping for. We can't look at the logo because it started to fray. We were trapped between a highway and restaurants and hotels. So our option to where we could point the camera was limited. Not to mention, our G&E team just came out of retirement. And that was a whole nother thing. When you work at a smaller market, you get the phone call for the shoot. One of the very first things you need to do is call your go-to G&E team. Otherwise, you might end up in my case. On this shoot, we had to pull some people out of retirement. And that had its own strengths and weaknesses. Yes, they have years of experience, but maybe they haven't been practicing that very often as of late. On set, that became very apparent. From tabletopping a 12 by 12 not properly and it blowing down to the ground, to trying to do a walk and talk with a 4x4 floppy saying, I don't know where I'm walking, I can't see where I'm walking. And trying to encourage them to say, you know, if you hold it off to the side like this, then you can see around and walk and talk with us. It was moments like that that we realized, hey, we're gonna need to dig deep creatively to make sure that we still keep Video Village happy, director happy, and luckily we had the right camera package to do so. Another pain point this location had was that the logo on the building up close was clearly fraying and deteriorating. From afar, from a highway's distance, you say, oh, clearly, that's that place. Oh, I know exactly what that is. But it was not commercial ready. Trying to keep the director calm, saying, oh, no, we got this, we can make it work. How about we wide open, longer lens, and get further away? We'll use compression to our benefit and depth of field to our benefit. One of my favorite things about using a large format camera is that depth of field. Even when you're outside, if you can get WFO and being able to control your depth, that's legible, but you can't see the imperfections. And then when we had to get creative with our lighting, luckily this location had one thing going for it. It was north facing with an east to west, left to right horizon. Our sun was going to be behind the building, always backlighting / side lighting us. And that's something that I had to lean in heavily on. And when you're doing a pretty much grip heavy day, there's only so much you could do overhead that will control the light beautifully versus making it feel too fake. And there's just a lot more larger bounce sources on the ground, to handheld bounce cards and whatnot. So we already realized that the 12x12s are out. We can't fly those. These guys don't have the skill set to lock it down. And that's why we had to lean in on some shiny boards through 4x4 frame diffusions. Man, I think we still got some beautiful imagery. You know, using a shiny board soft side through an opal or you know, a 251, that level of diffusion is pretty nice to kind of do subtle fill. Can I also vent about one more thing? We had a very diverse cast with a very bright white big vehicle that we were trying to expose for. So take blacktop, asphalt, summer days, diverse cast, and a white SUV. You know, most of the time say, hey, do we got a gray? Do we got a red? Do we got a blue? Oh shit, that scared me. Here comes trouble. You coming up? We've got like 5 of these, and this one just made its cameo. Say what's up. These are our outdoor cats for the farm, and I'm gonna put you with your other brother or sister. I don't kind of know, but dude, I'll save this. This stays in the video. And here's one more thing that came up. This shift of realizing that my G&E team hasn't been working on this that much, and yet I actually have a stellar first AC and second AC team, meant that I could lean in heavily on the fact that we have these fast lenses with a large format camera. So the shift of shooting WFO, meaning shooting at the widest aperture that your lens offers, typically allows the biggest depth of field, but also the most razor thin of focus distance. That meant that, hey, could you help me out here a little bit, buddy? We're gonna need to shoot this one wide open, meaning that you're gonna have to be on your A game. And they were. So sometimes it's about shifting that pressure or that weight from one end to another. There's been many a times I've been on a set where the location is not great, and one of my favorite things about these large format cameras is that the depth of field that you can get so quickly with these large format cameras really helps to throw things out that you do not want to see out of focus. When you don't have that freedom of having full control or set deck all throughout a location, here's the tip: go large format, you get some fast glass, and then your focus is definitely way more on your subjects. That's a look that works well for commercials, not always great for narrative, but these are some of the tips and tricks that I've had to use while shooting. And here's another one. This is something that I think about a lot. Adapting is not about doing less. It's about knowing how to ask and get the most from your team. And on this shoot, we asked the most from our camera, lenses, and our talented first AC and second AC team. And here's one more thing that we had to work with. When shooting on an asphalt parking lot in the summer in the Midwest, it's very important to come prepared with the proper clothing. And some might think this is counterintuitive, but long sleeves from, let's say, Columbia's performing PFG, line of the Omni-Shade stuff, super lightweight. It whisks the sun or whatever, and that long sleeve light material helps keeping you from always reapplying sunscreen. And on this set, our G&E team, straight out of retirement, didn't quite have the proper gear. This meant overheating. This meant rashes on their skin from too much sun. And as a DP, it's not about making your crew do things that they were potentially not prepared for, but it is about adapting. I'm in charge of my team, and without my team, I still can't make this happen on my own. I need these guys. So I had to quickly understand how I shift to get the best out of them, and constantly remind them, saying, hey, let's get out of the sun. Hey, let's put a floppy over for you, courtesy floppy for yourself. We got to protect them as well. So pro tip would just be, get on Columbia's website, get some PFG stuff. You will not regret it. I, on set every day, have the weird bucket hat that doesn't make me look cool, or the long sleeve PFG stuff that's, I think, for performance fishing gear, but I'm gonna call it pro film gear. So that's my little tip. All that PFG stuff's now called pro film gear. It's super thin, it doesn't allow UV rays. Stay hydrated and you will not regret it. This is my best tip I can give to people who are watching this. And then of course, pivoting doesn't always just mean, hey, we're pivoting the camera. It doesn't mean saying, hey, we're gonna get rid of this shot. It means also, we gotta protect our crew, we gotta pivot. We gotta make sure they're not dying in the sun. And finally, prep gives you direction, and adapting on set is about when reality intervenes. You can check out this project and others on my website at stevenscgreathouse.com. Thanks for watching. Peace.